And you're listening to AIM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Broadcasting to you live from the Paddock Mall, streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio, 927. As we're making our way towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, a lot of bit there we just did. As before the top of the 9 o'clock hour in the studio, we had Sheila Arnett, the nonpartisan candidate for school district, or school board District 1, rather, as we discussed with her a little bit about some of the changes that are the obvious ones coming in lieu of the new school year and everything that had changed in lieu of the coronavirus and COVID-19. And then also discussing a little bit about one of the priorities she has, which is the school budget, and talking a little bit about what's necessary for the discussion of that and how that leads into the 2021 school year. As we talked with her, and then after that, it was the top of the 9 o'clock hour. We talked with Mr. Don Blankenship as the nominee of the Constitution Party and candidate for President of the United States. Talking with him, just stating some of the obvious, the tumultuous things that the nation's been going through, and just maybe the expectations of what needs to be done in order to make that better, or bring our country together better, so to speak. But nonetheless, a lot of good stuff there. We got more good show coming your way, as like we said, we're coming up on the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. And with that, we're going to be rolling through some fun items to continue the conversation like we have been. And stay tuned for the top of the 10 o'clock hour. We'll also be rolling into our On This Day in History, which will be some good stuff here to touch on. This day, June 22nd, for On This Day in History, and see what events took place, as we got a few good ones there to mention. So a lot of good show coming your way still on this morning as we say good morning, as now it's warmed up just a little bit more, but still beautiful this morning. But now we're approaching 78 degrees, getting closer to 80, as we could see a high of 94 today, as we're going to see mostly sunny skies nonetheless in a beautiful day after a beautiful weekend. So hope you enjoyed the weekend. Thank you for listening to AIM Ocala Live. So we got more show coming your way up next. So stay tuned. WOCA Ocala, WOCA The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Back after this.
Trump.
I don't think he's fit for office. I don't think he has the competence to carry out the job. I don't think he's a conservative Republican.
In an interview with ABC News on his upcoming memoir, the former national security advisor calling the president a danger to the republic, and says congressional Democrats were almost as bad in their efforts to remove him from office. President Trump has called Bolton a sick customer. A second shooting taking place inside Seattle's so-called autonomous zone, with a victim brought to a hospital in serious condition last night, the day after one fatality when crowds blocked police.
Seattle police did respond to a shooting inside the occupation zone early Saturday morning, but as body cam shows, they were met by an angry mob.
Fox's Dan Springer. America's listening to Fox News.
Anyone who builds, remodels, or repairs for a living, we know the way you work has changed. That's why Lowe's is committing today to build new ways to keep you working tomorrow. We are proud to introduce the new Lowe's for Pros job site, powered by Stream, an augmented video chat tool, so you can be there for your customers without actually being there. And the cost to use? Try it free through October 31st at lowesforpros.com/ProLoyalty. Just one of the reasons why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Services subject to Stream terms. Lowe's loyalty membership required. More terms apply.
How much money would you like to save just by doing something you're already doing? How about 40%? With Allstate, safe drivers can save 40% just by doing something they're already doing. Driving safe. That's right, 40% just by driving safe. Visit Allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote today and see just how much you can save when you drive safe with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Savings vary and based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
12 rounds boxing. Now on the Ocala Square. Open 10 A to 10 P. 7 days a week. That's 12 rounds boxing.
Folks, are you tired of the broken promises from the Washington politicians? They promised to build the wall. They haven't. They promised to repeal Obamacare. They didn't. It's time we hold the Washington politicians accountable. Time we elect a businessman, not a politician. It's time we send Judson Sapp to Congress. Judson Sapp is a conservative businessman just like President Trump. Judson Sapp is a pro-life conservative, a life member of the NRA with an A rating. Judson Sapp will protect our Second Amendment rights and the rights of the unborn. Floridians can trust Judson Sapp to keep his word. Judson Sapp will stand with President Trump. Build the wall, repeal Obamacare, support our veterans, and make America great again. New conservative leadership. Businessman Judson Sapp.
I'm Judson Sapp, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Judson Sapp for Congress.
WOCA.
Partly sunny today with a shower, thunderstorm, and spots this afternoon, high 90 to 93. Showers and thunderstorms this afternoon will continue through this evening, low 73 to 75. Then Tuesday and Wednesday both look for a mix of clouds and sunshine. Shower, thunderstorm, and spots in the afternoon, high Tuesday 91 to 93, high Wednesday 90 to 93. Then partly sunny on Thursday, high 92 to 96. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Prescription opioids can be addictive and dangerous.
My son was 20 years old when he was prescribed opioid. It took him 5 days to get addicted. I'm not supposed to be the one to go get his suit and tie and pick which sneakers that I'm going to bury him in. My son overdosed at the age of 22 years old.
Prescription opioids. It only takes a little to lose a lot. Visit cdc.gov/RX awareness.
Brought to you by the Department of Health in Marion County and Ocala Fire Rescue.
WOCA. Ocala.
Listening to AM Ocala Live, everybody. Good morning. So we're back here, AM Ocala Live. I'm your host, Adam McEwen, as we say good morning. Now it's 80 degrees outside. I said 78 before the break, and it's now jumped to 80. So just that quick, as we were talking at the beginning of the show at 7 a.m., as we were talking about 68 degrees, it was nice, pleasant, and cool. As you're enjoying your cup of coffee and everything else, is now it's jumped up. It's now 80 degrees, and we're expecting a high of 94 today. As it was that quick, it went up another 2 degrees right after the break from when I checked it. But pretty crazy, but nonetheless should be a beautiful day. Nothing we shouldn't see out of the ordinary, with an expectation of a beautiful, hot summer day in Florida. And we got a caller on the air. Good morning, WOCA.
Good morning, Adam.
Hey, Hugh. How you doing today, partner?
Well, pretty good. A little bit disappointed with the rained-out NASCAR race yesterday, but we're going to have to watch that today. And for people like myself that are retired, every day is a Sunday, more or less, so it doesn't bother me. But I know a lot of other people, including my son and a lot of family members, were kind of looking forward to that race yesterday. But they're all at work today, so they could probably tape it and watch it later on.
Right. Now, and we were talking about that with our segment with Galen. Kind of a little sour note for NASCAR this weekend in lieu of what had been found with the noose in Bubba Wallace Jr.'s car and garage there. So a little disappointing. And then I think what we were talking about was that, if we got on with the race, it could kind of leave that little story to rest, and we could actually see who won the race. But it got rained out, like we said, postponed until today. So it left just a little sour note in lieu of NASCAR this weekend, don't you think?
Yeah, well, there's all kind of goofy people everywhere in all forms of life in all different sports, so it's not unexpected. I'm surprised. I'm a little bit concerned about the Confederate flag situation coming up once the fans get back to get in the stands. I think you're going to see that flag whether they like it or not. So I don't know how they're going to handle that, but that's the way it goes down here, in particular in the South.
Yeah, that's a good point. And with that, they had parades yesterday to kind of protest in their own right about not wanting to have it be banned, which is interesting. And amongst that controversy, and like we said, with what happened with the race car driver there with the noose and all of that, it's kind of like today. Yeah, let's see the race. Let's get on with the race, so to speak. And I think once they get past this, just a little bit of time, we'll heal that up to the next race, and then what we've got coming for July 4th weekend and all that. So I think NASCAR will pull out of this little blemish.
Right. As far as NASCAR races go, I personally, my favorite is Talladega, and of course Daytona Beach, and a lot of the other tracks are wonderful too. But I really love those super speedways, because you never know what can happen at those speeds on those tracks. And in the past, it's been very exciting racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I was also talking with Galen that with Father's Day yesterday, and a belated Father's Day to you, partner, with everything this weekend. I hope you enjoyed yourself. But we were discussing a little bit about a little bit of a void that there was, not having just a little bit of baseball in the background that you could have on the back patio with the cookout this weekend, with no 2020 season for baseball.
Yeah, it's not looking too good. I don't know. Time is kind of getting away from the situation here. If they don't make up their minds pretty quick here, I think we're not going to have baseball this year.
Yeah, and we were kind of discussing a little bit the idea, like maybe it's for the better to just move on from it, because if anything, with the back and forth and the disagreements and the idea of not seeing eye to eye, maybe it's better for themselves to say, okay, let's worry about the next season and so forth, and just move on from this, instead of trying to salvage so much of what's as we move on now towards what is July. As they still haven't come to any agreement, so to speak, but we shall see.
Because of the timing and the time of year, with the NBA, the basketball, it looks like they've got everything going in the right direction there. So it looks like we'll have a basketball season. Right.
And I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. I'm one of them. I think one of the things that makes it interesting also is, you might vouch for this, that it's in our backyard, being played down there at the Disney Resort here in Orlando. And, growing up, I was saying that I went to a lot of basketball camps as I played and stuff, and something about the summertime, playing open gyms with really just your buddies there to play basketball, and the coaches and everything to provide the camp, that I almost feel it might have a sense like that, and you kind of lose a lot of all the fluff surrounding it. So maybe it'd actually be good for the basketball game itself, because that's what it's only going to be about, because with no fans, that's the attention to it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting format, playing in one location like that. So I'm kind of excited about it, and I think it's going to be very entertaining.
Yeah, and I think with that little bit of excitement, because it is so different, and everybody knows the expectation of what's different and why. So bring that to motion, actually putting it in place, I think not only the idea of having that sport be played, number one, but then number two is kind of like you said, just how they're going to do it in the sense of actually just being there in the resort and playing the games, and it kind of carries a little bit of the same thing that we would see with like a NCAA tournament, where it's like, they're all playing in the same court. The only difference is obviously there'll be no fans, but it's really going to be neat to see how it does play out. It'll be different. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. It might be difficult at first to get adjusted to the fact that there's nobody in the stands, but I think basketball is one of those games that it could still be something interesting and exciting to watch, even if there is nobody in the stands.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to any kind of sports because it's a main source of living, more or less. The way things are going nowadays, it's something to look forward to and to live for, and really wait and appreciate. So let's hope we can get as much sports as we can involved. But thank God for NASCAR going ahead. I think it's been very successful for them. The only problem there is the weather hasn't been cooperating.
Right.
It's the second race, it's had a problem with rain, but nevertheless, they're on their way going in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there, partner. And just to the idea of sports, just actually when more of it's played and there's more going on with it, I think it's the nice distraction we all need, and it brings up other conversation that isn't so apropos when it comes to everything that's going on in the world right now. It lets ourselves kind of decrease the idea of taking ourselves so seriously, so much, all the time, and gives us that little bit of outlet. And I think all Americans can deserve that right now, for sure. So
right. Exactly. Hey, thank you for letting me on. Before I move on, I believe there's a launch today around 5:30 at the Cape. Do you know anything about that?
From what I heard something of the nature of, but not too much. I thought maybe it was just more of the Starlink satellites that they were going to get lifted off, but I'm not sure.
I believe it's scheduled for. I thought I saw or heard 5:28 was the projected launch time. But if you're out in the backyard and there's not too many clouds around, you might be able to see a contrail of that thing going up, which is always kind of fun to watch. But like you say, it's probably some more satellite stuff. I don't know how much more stuff they get up there before it starts running in there. Everything.
That's true. It does bring it up here for tomorrow at 10:26 a.m. Eastern Time, weather pending. Obviously, it says the mission of launch of Russian Progress 76 cargo craft up to the International Space Station. The idea of the description is the Progress craft will actually carry some of the supplies to the International Space Station. And they do proclaim some coverage of that beginning at 10 a.m. as docking is scheduled for 1:47 p.m. So yeah, it looks like they're going to get a little shipment up there at the International Space Station to replenish some of the supplies. So a little something interesting nonetheless.
I think sometimes you kind of wonder what they're all setting up to those guys,
Absolutely.
Maybe like a blow-up doll or something.
Oh, man. You got it, buddy. You got it. Well, we appreciate the call, partner, and appreciate chatting with you. And I think we look forward to the rest of this week here as we can get basically June pretty much finished up with the work week here, and then just a few days next week, and we'll be in July.
Yeah. I watched the Weather Channel yesterday, and they had the projected weather for July, August, and September, and we're going to be above normal and dry down here, according to what they're saying.
Right. A little bit of that has to do with, which I'm seeing a lot of people have posted, the idea of all of the dust that's kind of made its way from the Sahara up through the atmosphere in our general area, as they're expecting that to kind of tie in a little bit. What's fascinating is that more of the majority of that sand for most of the year actually makes its way towards South America, which is actually what allows, with a lot of particles in the air, to have the moisture bond to where it actually becomes heavy enough to bring so much rain to the rainforest of the Amazon. And we're actually going to be getting a little bit more of that, but what it does is it actually kind of changes the dynamics of what we could expect for those tropical storms, and i.e. hurricanes too, that come later in the year. So we might actually see some change in that as those upper level winds with a lot of that particles and stuff can kind of tear that stuff apart before it actually becomes something strong.
That is interesting. You know, just a matter of a couple of years ago, you never heard anything of dust coming across the oceans from Africa. I mean, that was just, but all of a sudden now somebody, I don't know, through satellite imagery or whatever, discovered, hey, that's it, and I bet it affects the weather. And sure enough, now it's a big, it's part of the big forecast, the amount of dust that will come across.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, my friend, when it's more stuff like that we start to learn and gain knowledge of our own nature and our own planet, it is absolutely fascinating just how much our own Earth is its own organism that lives and breathes and does its own thing with a natural balance, man. It's interesting. It's awesome. I love it. That's why I talk so much about weather.
Yeah. Well, when you speak of Earth, man hasn't always been the best thing for Earth, but it seems to have enough strength to correct things that we do to it. So let's just hope that kind of a trend stays along with us.
Absolutely. We'll appreciate, partner. Thank you for the call, and I hope you enjoy your Monday there and enjoy the race.
Let's hope it don't rain.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it, partner. Thank you. You got it. So, good stuff from there from Hugh. Thanks for calling in, partner. We appreciate it. As we're coming up on 14 minutes before the top of the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to take a short little break for that weather, and we come back. We got some fun stuff to talk about, especially with the idea of cool dads for the weekend. What was the cool thing at a friend's house that if you wanted to be the cool dad or the cool parents, what you had at your house when it came to the maybe the in-ground swimming pool, the ping pong table in the basement, good snacks? Well, check this out. According to a survey of adults, the top sign of a cool house and a list of the top 10 things that make it a cool house. That comes into when you think about your childhood and stuff. More of that when we come back right here. WOCA, The Source.
Looking for fun and educational online activities for children? Then check out Teaching Tuesdays, the Appleton Museum of Art's free weekly art project video series. These educational videos feature art projects that can easily be done from home with basic art supplies and materials. A new video is posted each week at 10 a.m. on the Appleton's Facebook page, website, and YouTube channel. For more information, visit appletonmuseum.org.
Here's a perfect way to celebrate Father's Day. Make it a plant or a tree from Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. Start by checking out this week's big color ad. This week, you can find out all about the Dad's Day tree sale. Buy one quality tree for Dad, any size, any price, and get a second one for yourself at half price. Check out their huge selection. Prices start as low as $19.99 for trees up to 6 feet tall and go all the way up to $5.99 for Bob's famous Super Jumbo trees. How about a crepe myrtle? A great range of colors starting as low as $6.99. Large 8 to 10 foot crepe myrtles are buy one, get one free. Get 2 of these beauties delivered and planted for just $2.99. Check us out, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street in Ocala, in the same blooming place since 1952.
WOCA.
Ocala. Partly sunny today with a shower, thunderstorm, and spots this afternoon, high 90 to 93. Showers and thunderstorms this afternoon will continue through this evening, low 73 to 75. Then Tuesday and Wednesday both look for a mix of clouds and sunshine. Shower, thunderstorm, and spots in the afternoon, high Tuesday 91 to 93, high Wednesday 90 to 93. Then partly sunny on Thursday, high 92 to 96. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Are you a medical provider that doesn't like to settle for the same boring scrubs? Scrub Paradise in Ocala has a wide selection of top brand scrubs with embroidery available and the newest medical shoes and accessories. Every medical provider should look as great as the care they provide. Scrub Paradise is just off Easy Street next to Shoe Carnival in Ocala. Stop by today or give them a call at 352-873-4368. That's 352-873-4368.
Who doesn't like roses? Everybody likes roses, even Dad, especially when they come from Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. Right now, Bob has a great selection of easy care, double red knockout roses, marked down to just $22.99. And get this, because he's a bit overstocked, Bob's doing a BOGO on drift roses. They're the number 4 size, regularly $29.99, but you buy one and you get one free. Here's a super Father's Day buy. Large 8 to 10 foot crepe myrtles. They're buy one, get one free. Get 2 of these beauties delivered and planted and guaranteed for just $299. Get there early in the day for best selection and beat the crowds. We can deliver to you curbside too. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Daily 9 to 4:30, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, in the same blooming place since 1952.
The Centers is here for you with services in person or via telehealth use, computer, iPhone, or Android. Or call us 352-291-5555.
Palm Garden announces Fast Track. Fast Track, focused assessment, safe transition. When a new guest is admitted to Palm Garden, we start with the ABCs. A is the assessment to determine what the guest needs. B is for basic care, which is excellent nursing and therapy. And C is for consistency to provide what's needed throughout the stay. Fast Track. Palm Garden will get you home fast, really, really fast. Take a fast tour of Palm Garden, located at the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
And good morning. We're back. You're listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Right here from the Paddock Mall, streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio, as we're coming up on now 6 minutes before the top of the 10 o'clock hour, rolling through this Monday. Oh, just Monday, as it's warming up pretty good. 82 degrees now, as we can expect a high of 94 for the high today, as the temperature keeps on creeping up and up. Nonetheless, by the afternoon, we should see a little bit of a breeze, as they say, a little bit of a southwest wind at 8 to 10 miles per hour. That'll keep things a little bit cool, at least a little bit of break there. Even though it's some hot air moving, it's nonetheless makes it a little bit better when there's some kind of breeze blowing. As we've been having a good show for you here, we got some more cool stuff to kind of round out with. As yesterday being Father's Day, and I actually just saw recently a really good meme that sums up Father's Day in general, and I think it's just one of those laughable things, laughable moments. But the bottom line is come Mother's Day, you basically got it like this. You got a Mother's Day commercials that are basically set up where diamonds on sale for $3,000. And then you have Father's Day commercials, men's cargo shorts on sale for $10. If that doesn't sum up the difference between those 2 days, I don't know what is. But as far as being a cool dad, dude dad, the idea here is maybe signs of a cool house. And when you think about when you were a kid, what was the cool thing at a friend's house that you admired, or you even had at your house, that when your friends came over, what made it so cool? Was it the in-ground swimming pool? Was it the ping pong table in the basement? Was it the good snacks? Well, according to the survey adults, the top sign of a cool house was, which we'll get to here in a second, just to leave you with a cliffhanger. Now, they go in a top 10 order of some of the 10 coolest things that was great about your friend's house or your house that brought your friends over when you were a kid. especially too when I think of the summertime overall. So here we go. Top 10 things, the signs of a cool house. Number 10 idea here for the top thing that made it as far as top 10 for signs of a cool house was if you or your friends had a trampoline. What was kind of cool is if your friends had a trampoline, you were willing to go over there and hang out. Number 9, I don't see how this one played in the ranks of the trampoline, but they did say, which made it a little bit cooler house, is that there were siblings to play with. Basically, there was a party going on. If you already had the Jacksons with 3 boys around the same age, it was probably more fun to go over there anyway because you had 3 times the toys and 3 times the kids to play with. Number 8 in the idea of the signs of a cool house, number 8, they say here, and amongst the siblings, that brings in at 29% here. It says a dog or a pet to play with, which makes you have a cool house. I don't know about that one, but you got a nice dog. That's one thing. Number 7 in the idea for the signs of a cool house was the cool thing that your friend's house had that you admired, or that you had, have your friends over. They say was number 7, a big backyard. That played a big part of it. It's a big backyard. I remember when I was growing up, for the idea of being able to play baseball, run around, throw the ball, and just be outside. As number 6 of the ideas of the signs of a cool house, they say your friends that had a lot of board games. Board games at number 6 is the idea of making it a cool house. Number 5, this one's interesting here, is the difference in toys that I had. In other words, the different type of toys that your friends had. And I think about growing up, the one thing was the kid that I went over and hung out at his house. He was kind of he was a kind of pretentious little kid, but at the same time, it was tough to put up with him. But then again, he always had some really cool toys. I had Ninja Turtles. Growing up, but this kid had everything. He had the Ninja Turtles blimp. He had the Ninja Turtles van. He had all the extra stuff that was a little bit different than the toys I had. The Batmobile, the Batwing. I just had Batman as a figurine. He had all the gadgets, the gizmos, and the vehicles, and that's what made his house a little bit cooler. Not him, just his house. Number 4, this one I thought would rank a little bit higher, but it's in the top 5 of what is a sign of a cool house, of something that your cool friend's house had that you admired, was a swimming pool. So they say 34% of the survey taken was a swimming pool is one of the things. Number 3 is, well, maybe back in the day more so, satellite or cable TV as the number 3 thing that made it a cool house. And for number 2, video games. Yep. If you got the bigger, the badder the console, the bigger the TV to play it on, and the plethora of games made it the cooler house that you admired. And the number 1 sign of a cool house that brought all the friends over, or you went to another house. And I think this is more mom than it is dad in the idea of the number 1 thing that makes it a cool house is, good snacks. I think that one goes to mom instead. Not necessarily dad, but maybe mom bought them for dad. That's what it is. But there you go. Signs of a cool house when you're growing up. Top 10. Good snacks is number 1. How about that? WOCA The Source coming up on 10 o'clock. WOCA Ocala back after this.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. Lawmakers trying to find common ground on police reform with 2 bills up for votes in the Senate and House this week. Republican Congresswoman Debbie Lesko telling Fox,
I talked to various law enforcement officers with varying backgrounds, and they said some of the portions in the Democrat bill would harm their ability to do their job, and so we can't go for that.
Meanwhile, a search for suspects in an uptick in shootings. In Charlotte, North Carolina, at least 2 people killed, several hurt at an impromptu block party in Chicago.
Over the weekend, a 13-year-old girl shot and killed while watching television. A 15 and 16-year-old boy also hit in that incident. Also, 2 innocent teenagers were walking home from a store and were gunned down, according to police.
Fox's Matt Finn. America's listening to Fox News.
From faulty breakers to broken windows, to leaky pipes, roofs, and water heaters, homes and businesses around the country can't work until the pros do. That's why Lowe's created credit programs that work for pros. With everyday 5% savings on eligible purchases, plus through October 31st, 60 days promotional financing on your Lowe's business account, or extended terms on eligible account receivables. Learn more in-store or online at lowesforpros.com. Putting money back in your pocket. Just one more reason Lowe's is the new home for pros. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only.
David Horowitz's new book about President Trump is out. It's called Blitz. In Blitz, Horowitz warns that Antifa wants to stop Trump and crush our freedoms. Blitz predicted that race would be a big issue, but Trump has a secret plan for the election. Mike Huckabee says if everyone reads Blitz, Trump will win. A #1 Amazon bestseller. Get Blitz at bookstores or get the free offer from Newsmax and save $28. Just call 800-NEWSMAX. That's 800-NEWSMAX. Or go to blitz411.com. Blitz411.com.
Mall Studios. This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
How to encourage more ladybugs into your garden. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
Soil, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Soil Ship Enterprise to explore soil life, to boldly grow where cover crops have never grown before. Farmer's Log, soil date 31655.4. We've come across some strange but incredibly helpful life forms. We didn't have to travel far to find them, but these organisms have proven invaluable on our trip through the solar system. They help feed us by nourishing and protecting our crops. They've built our soil structure to make it more resilient to the harsh weather we encounter. Our sensors indicate they're even helping us store carbon that plants take out of the atmosphere and put it back into the soil. Guess you can say our living and life-giving soil is the best thing to cling on to. Sorry. That's soil fleet humor.
Visit your local USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service office today and learn more about the basics and benefits of soil health. This message brought to you by USDA and this radio station.
Ladybugs can be your garden's best friend because these beautiful creatures with jazzy wing markings love to eat pests, such as aphids, for example, which are known to destroy many plants and flowers. It's tempting to panic at the first sign of aphids, but hold off on using any pesticides. A little restraint often pays off with a visit from hungry ladybugs. One way to attract ladybugs into your garden is with pollen-rich blooms. Flat-top flowers such as yarrow, angelica, fennel, and dill are great, along with common companion plants like calendula, sweet alyssum, and marigold. Offer ladybugs somewhere to overwinter too. They usually hibernate in hollow stems and other nooks and crannies, so delay cutting back old stems till spring. Or why not make your own ladybug hotel by stuffing straw and a bundle of wide bamboo sections into an old pot tied together to keep them all in place, and position the ladybug house 1 to 3 feet above the ground in a sheltered, sunny spot. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
12 rounds boxing. Now on the Ocala Square. Open 10 A to 10 P. 7 days a week. That's 12 rounds boxing.
Folks, are you tired of the broken promises from the Washington politicians? They promised to build the wall. They haven't. They promised to repeal Obamacare. They didn't. It's time we hold the Washington politicians accountable. Time we elect a businessman, not a politician. It's time we send Judson Sapp to Congress. Judson Sapp is a conservative businessman just like President Trump. Judson Sapp is a pro-life conservative, a life member of the NRA with an A rating. Judson Sapp will protect our Second Amendment rights and the rights of the unborn. Floridians can trust Judson Sapp to keep his word. Judson Sapp will stand with President Trump. Build the wall, repeal Obamacare, support our veterans, and make America great again. New conservative leadership. Businessman Judson Sapp.
I'm Judson Sapp, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Judson Sapp for Congress.
Partly sunny today with a shower or thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, high 90 to 93. Showers and thunderstorms this afternoon will continue through this evening, low 73 to 75. Then Tuesday and Wednesday both look for a mix of clouds and sunshine. Shower, thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon, high Tuesday 91 to 93, high Wednesday 90 to 93. Then partly sunny on Thursday, high 92 to 96. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Prescription opioids can be addictive and dangerous.
My son was 20 years old when he was prescribed opioid. It took him 5 days to get addicted. I'm not supposed to be the one to go get his suit and tie and pick which sneakers that I'm going to bury him in. My son overdosed at the age of 22 years old.
Prescription opioids. It only takes a little to lose a lot. Visit cdc.gov/RxAwareness.
Brought to you by the Department of Health in Marion County and Ocala Fire Rescue.
WOCA.
Looking for fun and educational online activities for children? Then check out Teaching Tuesdays, the Appleton Museum of Art's free weekly art project video series. These educational videos feature art projects that can easily be done from home with basic art supplies and materials. A new video is posted each week at 10 a.m. on the Appleton's Facebook page, website, and YouTube channel. For more information, visit appletonmuseum.org.
Here's a perfect way to celebrate Father's Day. Make it a plant or a tree from Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. Start by checking out this week's big color ad. This week, you can find out all about the Dad's Day tree sale. Buy one quality tree for Dad, any size, any price, and get a second one for yourself at half price. Check out their huge selection. Prices start as low as $19.99 for trees up to 6 feet tall and go all the way up to $5.99 for Bob's famous Super Jumbo trees. How about a crepe myrtle? A great range of colors starting as low as $6.99. Large 8 to 10 foot crepe myrtles are buy one, get one free. Get 2 of these beauties delivered and planted for just $2.99. Check us out, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street in Ocala, in the same blooming place since 1952.
WOCA. Ocala.
And good morning. You're listening to AM Ocala Live, WOC The Source. I'm your host, Adam Mikulin. Good morning, everybody. As we're making our way through this Monday, as we're 9 minutes past the top of the 10 o'clock hour, as it is with that time, as we usually kind of bring it to you this time on Mondays, as we take a look at
how to encourage more late.
As how to encourage more late. As we already listened to This Land of Ours, but it's time for
This Day in History.
And there we go. As we take a look back on this day in history, back in June 22nd, we take a look back in history on this day, back in history, June 22nd. And we start out right in my wheelhouse, which I'm excited to talk about or bring up, is it was back in 1933 on this day, June 22nd, 1933, American aviator Wiley Post became the first person to fly solo around the world, traveling almost 15,596 miles in 7 days, 18 hours, and afterward received a ticker tape parade in New York City as it was done on this day in 1933. Wiley Hardeman Post born November 22nd, 1898. As he passed away there, August 15th, 1935. He was a famed American aviator during the interwar period and the first pilot to fly solo around the world. That takes, especially back then, even now, it takes some balls, takes some gusto, takes some kind of something. But then I'm thinking about back then, even more so. Also known for his work in high-altitude flying, Post helped develop one of the first pressure suits. And by the way, he's the one who discovered the jet stream. On August 15th, 1935, Post and American humorist Will Rogers were killed when Post's aircraft crashed on takeoff from a lagoon near Point Barrow in the territory of Alaska. As Post's Lockheed Vega aircraft, the Winnie Mae, was on display at the National Air and Space Museum's Stephen F. Unvarahezi Center from 2003 to 2011. It is now featured in the Time and Navigation Gallery on the second floor of the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., which is worth going now to take a look at. As we mentioned, Wiley Post, as just an interesting, cool cat here. It says Post was born to cotton farmer parents. As he moved to Oklahoma when he was 5, he was an indifferent student but managed to complete the 6th grade. And by 1920, his family settled on a farm near Oklahoma. As it was young Wiley's first view of an aircraft in flight came in 1913 at the county fair in Loughton, Oklahoma. The plane was a Curtiss Wright, a pusher type. It says the event was so inspired him that he immediately enrolled into the Sweeney Automobile and Aviation School in Kansas City. 7 months later, he returned to Oklahoma and went to work at the Chickasaw and Loughton Construction Company. And it says here that during that the World War I Post wanted to become, it says here during World War I, Post wanted to become a pilot in the U.S. Army Air Service. As joining the training camp at the University of Oklahoma, he learned radio technology. Germany surrendered before he completed his training. The war ended, and he went to work as a roughneck in Oklahoma's oil fields. The work was unsteady, and he turned briefly, get this, to armed robbery. That's why I was reading onto this. He was arrested in 1921 and then sent to Oklahoma State Reformatory, serving more than a year in Oklahoma State Reformatory as he was paroled in the summer of 1922. Pretty crazy. In 1930, the record of flying around the world was not held by a fixed-wing aircraft, but by the Graf Zeppelin, piloted by Hugo Eckener. In 1929, with a time of 21 days. On June 23rd, 1931, Post and the Australian navigator Harold Gatty left the Roosevelt Field on Long Island, New York, in the Winnie Mae with a flight plan that would take them around the world, stopping at Harbor Grace, Flintshire, and Hanover twice, Berlin, Moscow, Novosibirsk, I can't pronounce that one, Irkutsk, Blagovesnechek, Khabrovsk, Nome, and where the propeller had to be repaired, Fairbanks, where the propeller was replaced, Edmonton and Cleveland. Before returning to Roosevelt Field, they arrived back on July 1st after traveling, like we said, 15,596 miles in the record time of 8 days and what they say here, 15 hours and 51 minutes, the first successful aerial circumnavigation by a single-engine monoplane. The reception received rivaled Charles Lindbergh's everywhere they went, as they had lunch at the White House on July 7th, rode in a ticker tape parade on this day in history in New York City. As Post acquired the Winnie Mae from F.C. Hall, and he and Getty published an account of their journey around the world in 8 days, and with an introduction by Will Rogers. So just incredible, like we said, right there with the Winnie Mae. Here's the cool thing. For those who get a chance to see some history within close to the area, I guess, is it was Valdosta, Georgia, which we fly up to every now and then with students for a commercial requirement that expects 100 nautical miles from the departure airport where we are here in Ocala. And up there at the Valdosta Airport in Georgia, Valdosta, Georgia, it talks a little bit of history with the airfield there. And one of the special things about that airfield is actually this gentleman in history, Mr. Wiley Post, actually landing there with the Willie Mae back in the day with the idea of actually meeting and greeting the people of Valdosta. I'm not sure what year that was, but I believe it was right around that time, as it was Wiley Post's in his Lockheed Vega. As like we said, it's on display at the, I'm thinking about wanting to see it now, as it's on display at the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. So there you go, 1933. Awesome. As we take a look, moving on here on this day in history, 1937, Joe Louis wins the world heavyweight boxing title when he defeats American Jim Broderick in the 8th round of a knockout fight. As Joe Louis, it was on this day in history that he wins the world heavyweight boxing title as he defeats, like we said, Jim Broderick. That was back in 1937. As known professionally as he's Joseph Louis Barrow, as he's known professionally as Joe Louis, an American professional boxer who competed from 1934 to 1951. He reigned as the world heavyweight champion from this day in history, 1937, up until 1949. Is considered to be one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time, nicknamed the Brown Bomber. Louis's championship reign lasted 140 consecutive months, which he participated in 26 championship fights. The 27th fight against Ezzard Charles in 1950 was a challenge for Charles' heavyweight title, and so it not included the Louis's reign, as he was victorious in 25 consecutive title defenses. As in 2005, Louis was ranked as the best heavyweight boxer of all time by International Boxing Research Organization, and was ranked number 1 on the Ring magazine's list of 100 greatest punchers of all time, as Louis had the longest single reign as champion of any heavyweight boxer in history. As Louis's cultural impact was felt well outside the ring, as he widely regarded as the first person of an African-American descent to achieve the status of a nationwide hero within the United States, and was also a focal point of anti-Nazi sentiment leading up to and during World War II. As they say, he was instrumental in integrating, get this, the game of golf, as breaking the sports color barrier in America by appearing under a sponsorship exemption in a PGA event in 1952. How about that? As Detroit's Joe Louis Greenway and the Forest Preserve District of Cook County's Joe Louis the Champ Golf Course south of Chicago in Riverdale is named in his honor. Absolutely incredible. As we said, one of the longest reigning championship world heavyweight boxing champions, Joe Louis, just absolutely phenomenal. And it was on this day in history that he began that reign, 1937. Way back when, baby, way back when. As we move on a little bit here to 1938, just a year later, in front of 80,000 people at Yankee Stadium, Joe Louis knocked out the German Max Schmeling in 2 minutes and 4 seconds, just to continue on with a year later of that of madness of integrity and craziness when it comes to him being a reigning world heavyweight boxing title, as he did it in front of 80,000 people at Yankee Stadium back in 1938. And then moving on to 1944, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signs the GI Bill of Rights, guaranteeing unemployment benefits and money for college for all U.S. war veterans, making many of the 2.2 million returning soldiers their first in their families to get a college degree. Talk about an initiative that actually not only was the procurement of what would become a great economy after the war, but the idea of well-educated and well-working class of Americans there getting that, an idea of getting the opportunity for a college degree with the GI Bill of Rights that we know servicemen and women are using to this day in furthering their education to give them a place in the workforce. And it's just, I see so much of it in the field of aviation and done so much with it with the VA benefits and the GI Bill. It's pretty amazing stuff, but it was signed into it on this day back in 1944. Moving on to on this day in 1969, a little somber note. Actress Judy Garland is found dead in her London home, possibly due to an accidental drug overdose back in 1969. As we move on to a little bit farther down the road, as we're coming up on now 10:22 now, as we take a look here, the voting age in the United States was lowered to 18 when President Richard Nixon signed the bill passed by Congress into law in 1970. A voting age is a minimum age established by law that a person must attain before they can become eligible to vote in the public election. It says today, most common voting age is 18 years. However, voting ages as low as 16 and as high as 25 do currently exist in some instances. As most countries have a set minimum voting age, 18 in our country, as it's mentioned, as we talked about in the United States. This is the debate about lowering voting age from 18 to 21 began during World War II, believe it or not, and intensified during the Vietnam War, when most of the subject to the draft were too young to vote, and the imagery of young men being forced to risk their lives with the military without the privileges of being able to vote successfully pressured legislatures to lower the voting age nationally in many states. And by 1968, several states had lowered the voting age below 21, as Alaska and Hawaii's minimum age was 20, while Georgia and Kentucky's was already 18. In 1970, the Supreme Court in Oregon versus Mitchell ruled that Congress had the right to regulate the minimum voting age in federal elections, however, not at local and state level. So it was later on that the 1971, the 26th Amendment, passed and ratified in 1971, prevents states from setting a voting age higher than 18, except for the express limitations provided by the amendments prior, as voter qualifications for the House and Senate elections are largely delegated to the states under Article 1, Section 2, and amendments of the United States Constitution, which respectively state that the House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several state, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications, requisites, and electors of the most numerous branch of the legislation, and the Senate of the United States will be composed of 2 senators from each state, and so forth, and yada, as it's 18 in the idea of voting, as that was put into place. And the idea of, as it was lowered, as it was passed by Congress into law in 1970. As we move on here just a little bit to a little bit farther down the timeline, as we take a look at 1981, it was 1981. Mark Chapman changes his plea to admit responsibility, get this, for the murder of Beatles fame superstar John Lennon, which happened December 8th in 1980. It says he received a sentence of 20 years in prison for murder. He has applied for parole on a number of occasions. The latest was on October 2006, when parole was again denied, as it was December 8th, 1980, that Mark Chapman had shot and murdered John Lennon. But it was on this day in history that he changes his plea to admit responsibility and eventually sentenced to 20 years for prison for murder back in 1981. As we move here, here's a little big one. This one's a little crazy nonetheless, but it's It's worth a poke. 2004, on this date, June 22nd, 2004, the class action sex discrimination lawsuit representing 1.6 million female workers against Walmart is approved by a federal judge. It says in February 2007, the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit affirmed the lower court ruling. It says the lawsuit affirms that female employees made up 65% of Walmart's hourly paid workforce, but only 33% of its management. Class action lawsuit plaintiffs estimate that about 1.6 million women could be included in the suit, which is a gender discrimination lawsuit. How about that? That was 2004. I don't remember that one. Kind of crazy. Moving on, 2010. As we take a look on this day, June 22nd, 2010. As we see here, it says that the Rotary International wrapped up its 4-year Kick Polio Out of Africa campaign, to which it contributed hundreds of millions of dollars and countless volunteers in an effort that eradicated 99% of the disease across the continent. And if you're wondering here, as we move up in the timeline, it was on this day in history in 2010. That wasn't that long ago. 2010, as it wrapped up its 4-year Kick Polio Out of Africa campaign, 99% of the disease across the continent as eradicated in lieu of the campaign for the Rotary International back in 2010, as it wrapped up on this date in 2010. That's not that long ago to try to eradicate polio from Africa. And then finally, as we take a look here, as June 22nd, as 2010, same year, as we take a look, 2010, it says James Whitney Bulger, a longtime name on the FBI's 10 most wanted list as a fugitive for Boston's crime boss, was arrested in Santa Monica, California. To take a look at this one here just a little bit deeper, as we look, as it was, like we said, James Bulger. As we take a look, yeah, it was James Joseph Whitney Bulger, as an American organized crime boss and FBI informant who led the Winter Hill Gang in the Winter Hill neighborhood of Somerville, Massachusetts, a city directly northwest of Boston, obviously. It says the federal prosecutors indicted Bulger for 19 murders based on the grand jury testimony from Kevin Weeks and other former criminal associates. December 23rd, 1994, he fled the Boston area, and so on and so forth. And then John Connolly tipped him off about the pending RICO indictment against him, and it was basically... It was in this day in history in 2010 that he was arrested. The interesting thing about this one, and it's a fascinating story, and it's actually a really good motion picture. Probably one of that I would attest to as Johnny Depp, one of his best acting movies. The movie's Black Mass, all about James Whitney Bulger as just absolutely incredible. Just a great thing there. But it was on this day in history that he was arrested. And if you get a chance, like I said, one of Johnny Depp's best movies. He hasn't done too many great ones in a while, but that one is up there. Very interesting story as an informant to the FBI. That'll do it for On This Day in History. Coming up on the 10:30, bottom of the 10 o'clock hour. WOCA back after this. WOCA Ocala.
I'm Lillian Wu. Lawmakers trying to find common ground on police reform with 2 bills up for votes in the Senate and House this week. Republican Congresswoman Debbie Lesko telling Fox,
I talked to various law enforcement officers with varying backgrounds, and they said some of the portions in the Democrat bill would harm their ability to do their job, and so we can't go for that.
Meanwhile, a search for suspects in an uptick in shootings. In Charlotte, North Carolina, at least 2 people killed, several hurt at an impromptu block party in Chicago.
Over the weekend, a 13-year-old girl shot and killed while watching television. A 15 and 16-year-old boy also hit in that incident. Also, 2 innocent teenagers were walking home from a store and were gunned down, according to police.
Fox's Matt Finn. America's listening to Fox News.
From faulty breakers to broken windows to leaky pipes, roofs, and water heaters, homes and businesses around the country can't work until the pros do. That's why Lowe's created credit programs that work for pros. With everyday 5% savings on eligible purchases, plus through October 31st, 60 days promotional financing on your Lowe's business account or extended terms on eligible account receivables. Learn more in-store or online at lowesforpros.com. Putting money back in your pocket. Just one more reason Lowe's is the new home for pros. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only.
David Horowitz's new book about President Trump is out. It's called Blitz. In Blitz, Horowitz warns that Antifa wants to stop Trump and crush our freedoms. Blitz predicted that race would be a big issue, but Trump has a secret plan for the election. Mike Huckabee says if everyone reads Blitz, Trump will win. A #1 Amazon bestseller. Get Blitz at bookstores or get the free offer from Newsmax and save $28. Just call 800-NEWSMAX. That's 800-NEWSMAX. Or go to blitz411.com. Blitz411.com.
News. WOCA.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
12 rounds boxing. Now on the Ocala Square. Open 10 A to 10 P. 7 days a week. That's 12 rounds boxing.
Partly sunny today with a shower, thunderstorm, and spots this afternoon, high 90 to 93. Showers and thunderstorms this afternoon will continue through this evening, low 73 to 75. Then Tuesday and Wednesday both look for a mix of clouds and sunshine. Shower, thunderstorm, and spots in the afternoon, high Tuesday 91 to 93, high Wednesday 90 to 93. Then partly sunny on Thursday, high 92 to 96. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Prescription opioids can be addictive and dangerous.
My son was 20 years old when he was prescribed opioid. It took him 5 days to get addicted. I'm not supposed to be the one to go get his suit and tie and pick which sneakers that I'm going to bury him in. My son overdosed at the age of 22 years old.
Prescription opioids. It only takes a little to lose a lot. Visit cdc.gov/RX awareness.
Brought to you by the Department of Health in Marion County and Ocala Fire Rescue.
WOCA.
Looking for fun and educational online activities for children? Then check out Teaching Tuesdays, the Appleton Museum of Art's free weekly art project video series. These educational videos feature art projects that can easily be done from home with basic art supplies and materials. A new video is posted each week at 10 a.m. on the Appleton's Facebook page, website, and YouTube channel. For more information, visit appletonmuseum.org.
Here's a perfect way to celebrate Father's Day. Make it a plant or a tree from Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. Start by checking out this week's big color ad. This week, you can find out all about the Dad's Day tree sale. Buy one quality tree for Dad, any size, any price, and get a second one for yourself at half price. Check out their huge selection. Prices start as low as $19.99 for trees up to 6 feet tall and go all the way up to $5.99 for Bob's famous Super Jumbo trees. How about a crepe myrtle? A great range of colors starting as low as $6.99. Large 8 to 10 foot crepe myrtles are buy one, get one free. Get 2 of these beauties delivered and planted for just $2.99. Check us out, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street in Ocala, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Are you a medical provider that doesn't like to settle for the same boring scrubs? Scrub Paradise in Ocala has a wide selection of top brand scrubs with embroidery available and the newest medical shoes and accessories. Every medical provider should look as great as the care they provide. Scrub Paradise is just off Easy Street next to Shoe Carnival in Ocala. Stop by today or give them a call at 352-873-4368. That's 352-873-4368.
Blitz.
The Centers is here for you with services in person or via telehealth use, computer, iPhone, or Android. Or call us 352-291-5555.
Palm Garden announces Fast Track. Fast Track. Focused assessment, safe transition. When a new guest is admitted to Palm Garden, we start with the ABCs. A is the assessment to determine what the guest needs. B is for basic care, which is excellent nursing and therapy. And C is for consistency to provide what's needed throughout the stay. Fast Track. Palm Garden will get you home fast, really, really fast. Take a fast tour of Palm Garden, located at the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
Listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, broadcasting to you live from the Paddock Mall, streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio. As we're rolling to it, rounding out the show here now, 24 minutes before the top of the 11 o'clock hour, as we got Joe in this morning. Good morning, Joe. Happy Father's Day, belated Father's Day, and happy Monday.
Day, as they say.
Yep, post-Father's Day. Yep.
I had a good Father's Day. Did you have a good Father's Day?
I did. I did.
I heard you went golfing on Saturday.
I got to go golfing on Saturday and played a pretty good round, too.
What time did you start?
Let's see, teed off about 10 minutes to 11.
Oh, I like to play in the heat of the day. Forget that noise.
Well, it's about the only time, kind of late minute, where you get the tee time for it. And,
it was a last minute kind of thing?
Yeah, and I'm young enough that I can try to handle it. Usually, though, I do kind of cash out. I was telling Galen that. I usually just kind of just cash out
after
there.
the ninth.
Because it's humid, it's hot, it's whatever.
No kidding. I did just the opposite. Up north, I used to play, and it was like cold.
Yeah.
Cold, yeah. I went one course up in just outside of Lake Lure, up in Hendersonville area in western North Carolina. The day started at 39, so it'll get warmer, no problem. It started out and it went down.
Oh, is that right?
It did everything but lightning. Hail, sleet, snow, rain, wind, and the temperature went down.
Ooh.
And I said, we're the only fools out here. Then another group came by and said, okay, we're not the only fools out here.
Yeah, makes you feel a little bit better.
That's the course that they filmed Dirty Dancing at.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
So it was
nice.
Because they filmed it all up in that area.
Yeah, yep.
But never been back there since, but yeah. I used to golf a little bit. Now I golf, it's been 4 years since I've golfed.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I haven't.
I can't go that long. Those are my two passions in the world.
It doesn't bother me. No?
Yeah.
I occupy the course, yeah.
Those are my two passions in the world.
What,
flying and golfing.
Golf.
And when I get the opportunity to do both in the same day, that's a day. That's a good
day and a half, yeah.
And then if I get the opportunity to fly an airplane to go golfing,
I knew you were going to do that.
That's even better. St. Simon Island, I got my eye on you.
Gee. I got a few things that it says about a man and his wife.
Yeah.
I got a few things I wrote here. And it says, my wife and I were watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And we're in bed. And I turned to her, I said, hey, you want to get a little.
You want to. That's all right. Hey, babe, you want to.
And she said, no. Oh, then I said, well, is that your final answer? She didn't even look at me. And she simply said, yes. So I said, well, then I'll have to phone a friend. That's when the fight started. Also, this guy said he took his wife to a restaurant. The waiter, for some reason, took my order first. All right, I'll have the rump steak rare, please. He said, well, aren't you worried about the mad cow? Nah, she can order for herself. And that's when the fight started. Oh, and of course, my wife and I were sitting at a table at her high school reunion, and she kept staring at a drunken man swaggering and drinking, and then sat alone at a nearby table. I asked her, do you know him? She said, yeah, he's my old boyfriend. I understand he took to drinking right after we split up. Those are many years ago, and I heard he hasn't been sober since. My goodness, I said, who would think a person could go that long celebrating that long? And then the fight started. Oh, when our lawnmower broke and wouldn't run, my wife kept hinting to me that I should get it fixed. But somehow I always had something else to take care of. The shed, the boat, making beer. Something more important to me, Finally, she thought of a clever way to make her point. When I arrived home one day, I found her seated in the tall grass, busily snipping away with a tiny pair of sewing scissors. I watched silently for a short time and then went into the house. I was going only a minute, and then I came back out again and handed her a toothbrush. I said, when you finish cutting the grass, you might as well sweep the driveway. And the doctor said I'll be able to walk again, only I'll have a limp. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's just so many of these things that happen here. I've got one here that went from one page to the other, and I lost the other page, so we'll skip that one.
I could picture a comic in my mind who'd be reading those ones.
Oh, Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you, yeah. Get no respect. Hey, Sunday morning I got up early, quickly dressed, made my lunch, and slipped quietly into the garage. I hooked up the boat and the van and proceeded to back out in a torrential rain. The wind was blowing 50 miles an hour, so I pulled back into the garage, turned on the radio, and discovered that the weather would be bad all day. I went back into the house, quietly undressed, and slipped back into bed. I cuddled up next to my wife's back with now a different anticipation and whispered, the weather out there is terrible. My loving wife of 5 years replied, and can you believe it, my stupid husband is out there fishing? And that's when the fight started.
Let's pause on that one. I didn't see it going in that direction. Hey, no respect.
I tell you, you got no respect.
No respect.
I called 911. They put me on hold. I tell you, hey. My wife was hinting about what she wanted for upcoming anniversary. She said, I want something shiny, that goes from 0 to 150 in 3 seconds. I bought her a bathroom scale. Whoa! Then the fight started. Hey, my wife was standing in the El Natural looking at the bedroom mirror. She was not happy with what she saw. She said to me, I feel horrible. I look old, fat, and ugly. I really need you to pay me a compliment. I replied, your eyesight's damn near perfect. And the fight started then, I re-ended a car, backed into a car this morning. And that started a real bad day. The driver got out of the other car, and he was a dwarf, He looked up at me and said, I'm not happy. So I said, well, which one are you then? And the fight started right then and there. And that's enough for now. There, everybody, there's your chuckles for today, Oh, wait a minute, there is one more.
Is there one more?
Yeah, one more. Let's see. 1 year, I decided to buy my mother-in-law a cemetery plot. It's a Christmas present, hey. And the next year, I didn't buy her a gift. Well, she asked me, hey, why I didn't buy her a gift? Oh, you still haven't used the one I gave you last year, hey. And then the fight started, I tell you, get no respect.
No respect. No
I
respect.
told my wife looked at me and said, hey, take me someplace new. I took her to the kitchen. Whoa, and then started fighting. I tell you, it's a rough life for me,
What's the other one? My wife says we need to talk more during sex. Now she calls me from a hotel room. No respect. No respect.
Careful now.
My daughter just got her senior pictures.
Oh, horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
Oh, yes.
Oh, with that being said, my friend, 15 minutes before the top of the hour as we round out our show. AM Ocala Live. We're going to take a short little break and we come back. Little mid-morning with Joe when we come back.
I tell you what, no respect, I tell you.
Back after this.
My tribute.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Shamrock Security Systems, 629-3223. Shamrock Security Systems is located here in Ocala, Florida. Shamrock Security Systems is a top-rated alarm company offering 24/7 monitoring, video surveillance, fire and flood protection. You'll sleep a little better once the job is done. Shamrock Security Systems for over 31 years. 629-3223. Get a 100% free quote from Shamrock Security. 629-3223.
WOCA.
Hi, this is Brittany from Mike Scott Plumbing. I wanted to take a moment to let you know that during these tough times, Mike Scott Plumbing is still here, ready to help you in every way we can. We know life doesn't just stop, and when it breaks, we know your plumbing doesn't just magically start working again. Mike Scott Plumbing is taking every precaution to ensure your safety by following and exceeding all the guidelines set forth by the CDC for COVID-19, as well as local districts. As an essential business, we are operating at full capacity to ensure we get your problem solved day, night, or weekends. We're all in this together. We hope you are all staying safe during these trying times. And remember, if water runs through it, we do it. 866-314-4443. Call day or night. That number again is 866-314-4443. Mike Scott Plumbing.
As the state of Florida continues to reopen, the Get, Gather, Go initiative moves forward. We encourage you to get informed on how it's safe to go out, gather together with family and friends, and go spend locally by supporting local restaurants and shops, all while still observing personal protection guidelines. Let's support our amazing city. Post a picture while you're out and use the hashtag WeLoveOcala. For more information, visit WeLoveOcala.com.
Hey, this is Matt from Crossroad Auto Sales. I want to invite you to come over and check out our vehicles. All of our vehicles at Crossroad Auto Sales go through a rigorous 100-point safety inspection. We work with most outside finance companies, and we even have in-house financing available. Stop by today at 1800 Northwest 10th Street or give me a call at 690-6695. That's 690-6695. Crossroad Auto Sales. We won't leave you stranded at the crossroad.
Pals Ocala Auto Repair fixes all makes and models. Pals makes sure that your vehicle's engine, mechanical, and electrical components are healthy at all times. Pals team would much rather see you drive to their shop for a full checkup than be towed in for a complex repair. Give Pals a call today to schedule your next service appointment. 352-414-2984. What? A nationwide warranty, 36 months or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first? Pals looks forward to servicing you and servicing your vehicle. 352-414-2984.
Help prevent the spread of germs. Wash your hands with soap and hot water for at least 20 seconds and always wash before you touch your face, eat, or drink. Use hand sanitizers. Limit sharing of eating utensils. Practice social distancing and avoid physical contact. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or the inside of your elbow. Avoid contact with ill individuals. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure. Download the free booklet at Scientology.org/stay well.
Partly sunny today with a shower, thunderstorm, and spots this afternoon, high 90 to 93. Showers and thunderstorms this afternoon will continue through this evening, low 73 to 75. Then Tuesday and Wednesday both look for a mix of clouds and sunshine. Shower, thunderstorm, and spots in the afternoon, high Tuesday 91 to 93, high Wednesday 90 to 93. Then partly sunny on Thursday, high 92 to 96. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
WOCA.
listening to AIM Ocala Live, WOCA The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, as we're broadcasting to you live from Pack Mall, streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA The Source Radio, as we say with this Monday, happy Monday, moving through it, June 22nd. We've had a good show for you here as we're just rounding out now, 9 minutes before the top of the 11 o'clock hour, as we can round out this Monday, let you get your day started, get your week started, the last full week of June, as we're going to be moving into July, baby, as the weekend after next is July 4th, if you can believe that, as we're more than halfway through our year of 2020. How about it? Why not? As we just had a little comedy club Monday there for you with Joe this morning, just touching on some of the old good. All the old goodies of the jokes that we had earlier there. Like I said, almost the feel of a little Rodney Dangerfield there, and all that good stuff. As we've had a pretty good show for you, wrapping up like we said to the top 11 o'clock hour. We started the show with a little conversation about the idea of where the Disney world opening up come July is seeing themselves with the idea of their tickets, that when they'll be selling and so forth, and how the app, the mobile app, is what they're really getting at. Overall, with the idea of what it would take to get you in the park and everything like that, as the other ticket sales, or the idea of actually jumping from park to park in the same day, as we touched on that a little bit, is going to be prohibited until further notice. And the idea of once they open, it's only the tickets that you have or the specific park that you go to for each day. We also mentioned a little bit about the idea, of camping. 10 reasons why you should go on a camping trip, as we kind of summarize a little bit of the ideas. We're moving into summer. Some of the ideas there about what you can do to still feel like a family vacation, but in lieu of everything kind of have gone on for the year, as some of the ideas behind what makes it a little advantageous to get into with going camping or something like that for the idea of vacation this year. As we touched on, number 10, the idea that maybe you can inspire some friends to do something more outdoors, or something like being outside. And then number 9, we mentioned the actual idea of camping, getting you the seclusion that you will of being outdoors, and the self-sufficiency that it takes to maybe grab a backpack and go on your own personal hike. We mentioned the idea that maybe you could still, with the good old-fashioned old fires and good stuff there, with the idea of the old storytelling around the campfire, even maybe down to the ones where a group camping trip is basically a big part of scary storytelling, as we talked about that, just getting back to the basics of camping and having some fun with it outside of Corona. And then the idea to take the time, as they say, number 7, it's time to feel small and maybe insignificant, as you can take a look at some campgrounds that even offer special nighttime and stargazing activities, as the idea of looking up at the stars or sleeping out underneath them gives you a little bit better idea of sense of perspective, to make you feel just a little bit smaller. As they mentioned also too, just the opportunity to maybe take advantage of something closer to home and exploring your own backyard. You can make camping even more affordable by visiting your own state park, learning some more things about where you live, camping close to home, and even visiting the park's museums and local hiking trails and so forth. We mentioned that, camping is affordable and strapped for cash for vacation. You can keep it cheap by heading into the woods for a camping trip. And then the idea of what's that? Yep, just food in general. The idea of a fresh cut steak out on the open campfire, or something as simple as corn on the cob, Jiffy Pop, or even the simplest of hot dogs and hamburgers on the open campfire, with the dessert of roasting marshmallows for s'mores. We even mentioned the idea of camping for the realization of just how little you can actually live with, for the idea to take advantage of a feeling that makes you feel like you can contribute to the world but not have to take so much for granted, but then be able to do it with such very little. The other one is to actually get unplugged and detach a little bit from the technology. As they say, most campgrounds don't have Wi-Fi or even cell signal as at best. So you and your children and the family can get more of up close and personalities to the idea of wildflowers, bugs, swimming holes, and even the Milky Way galaxy of the stars by actually getting disconnected, putting the phones down, and getting back to nature. And then that's the number one idea for going camping, is just in lieu of everything that's gone on with tumultuous spring in 2020, is you get much closer to nature while camping. So some of the good reasons there we talked about. We talked with Galen for the idea of Father's Day there also, and we know he had a good weekend. We also wanted to get out there and mention to give the gift of life and donate blood, as the Publix on East Silver Springs Boulevard welcomes the Blood Mobile today. So we encourage you to get out there, give the gift of life, and donate blood. And before the top of the 9 o'clock hour, we talked with Sheila Arnett, nonpartisan candidate for School Board District 1 right here in Marion County, as we had her in the studio and talking a little bit about what she would like to do to hold that position and some of the priorities she would have of bringing the conversation about what it takes for the number one priority, which is educating our kids in our school districts here. As we talked with her to the 9 o'clock hour, we also spoke with Don Blankenship, the Constitution Party nominee candidate for President of the United States, with some interesting insight on the idea of where his angle and perspective is at the ideas of what we can do to improve America or make America ourselves great again. As we talked with him, we rolled out our On This Day in History, and one of the things that I enjoyed talking about was the history of American aviator Wiley Post becoming the first person to fly around the world, traveling 15,596 miles. And then another good one to talk about was, I've been a fan of him, as my dad mentioned him, big fan. It was 1937, as on this day in history, Joe Louis wins the world heavyweight boxing title for the first time, which he ended up defending all the way to 1949. So a lot of good stuff there that we touched on. And like we said, a few jokes for the little bit of the hour. We even touched upon, when we were kids, thinking about a cool dad, what it meant to have a cool household. As when you were a younger kid and you want to go over to your friend's house and play, was the idea of what made their house cool was a lot of things, from a trampoline to a swimming pool to, well, what else? Video games, even the toys that they had. Or the number one reason that you would go over there is more from the mothers about how they stocked the pantry with good snacks. And then we finished it with some comedy, with some Mid-Morning with Joe. But that'll do it for this Monday, as we're coming to the top of the 11 o'clock hour now with the Paddock Mall getting ready to open till 7 p.m. tonight. As we look forward to the Tuesday show, as you know, we got coming up with Carol Ann Baldwin, Master Gardener, for tomorrow, her segment In the Garden with Carol Ann, and of course Matt Gibbs, Sunrise Automotive, as we'll have them on for Tuesday. So another good show coming your way right here at The Source, WOCA, right here for AM Ocala Live. I'm your host, Adam McEwen. A little shout out. I want to say thanks to Joe, to Dan, to Tish for getting those On This Day in History. A little shout out and thanks to Galen every morning as we talk with him. And our proud sponsors also, Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center and Penn Flooring. As we say, until tomorrow, appreciate you guys. Enjoy the weather out there. Sunshine today, a little bit warm, high of 94. And until tomorrow, as I say, goodbye.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
Shootings at a Juneteenth celebration last night in Charlotte, North Carolina, leaving at least 2 people dead and 7 others wounded, according to the Deputy Police Chief Johnny Jennings.
What started out as something positive on Friday has escalated into this, and now we're looking at least 2 deceased.
Jennings says 5 other people were injured when they were struck by vehicles when the chaos broke out. They're looking for what may be multiple shooters. Senior Presidential Advisor Kevin